Hey guys, it's Shadow Ninja Kieran here, and boy has it been a long time since I've played Mass Effect 3. Um, well, my skills aren't as good as usual because I haven't played in so long, but it's going to be episode 2 in my Reignite the Fun series. Just so you know, I'm not going to be uploading this series that frequently because Halo 4 is coming out, and I want to get a lot of content of that up. But the odd thing is, Halo 4 was sold out in the whole of London, so I'm going to have to order it off Amazon and hope they deliver it to me in time. Anyway, about this video, it's going to be me playing as the Turian sentinel. Right now, this is my build, but I've actually done it wrong, so I'm going to be using a reset power card. Because tech armor, it slows the recharge speed of your powers down, and this build relies on overload and warp a lot, so I can't really use that. So I put no points into tech power, and I maxed out everything else, which is quite a good thing to do, because tech armor is quite good, but when you need your powers, it's not good at all, because your powers being slowed down by 50% is really going to just slow you down a lot. Well, this build is a Turian sentinel with a Kishock sniper rifle. Now, I don't normally use the Kishock, but I found it so much fun to use on this guy, and that's what this series is about, reigniting the fun. The reason I stopped making episodes is because the Retaliation DLC came out, and I really didn't think I would have to reignite the fun, because they already had DLC which did that for me. But I'm still going to upload videos with some of the early characters that were released in this game, with weapons that make them really fun to use. Now this point it's so much fun because you have to time your shots, because it's not easy to hit them with the harpoon, because the harpoon takes time to travel through the air, so you have to kind of aim in front of your target, and it's hilarious how far back they fly when you hit them with the harpoon. And another great thing about the harpoon is inside the actual harpoon itself, there's mini disruptors that stop the enemy shields from regenerating, and it deals a small amount of damage over time, which is quite good. You'll see me use this to my advantage a lot throughout the video to take out enemies. Like, I will get them down to 1 bar of health, and the disruptor will take them out for me. Now, I probably would have gotten through this game. I'll tell you now that we die on wave 6, but that is probably because my teammates were so rubbish. And the thing is, online people in this game, a lot of them are really unskillful and bad, and this one made no exception. I was actually playing with one of my friends. His gamer tag is DWTX Ninja, and I wouldn't actually tell him this, but he is actually pretty bad at the game. I play with him because it would be pretty mean. Like, he comes on this game, he's like, "Oh, Kieran, do you want to play Mass Effect?" And if I was just like, "No, you're bad," I would feel a bit bad myself for not playing with him. But he is pretty bad at the game, and you'll see throughout that he gets probably the lowest points on the team and goes down the most. But he does do a few good things here and there. But generally, a lot of the people you find online aren't really that skillful, and they result in me failing the mission. In this video, I am going to be using Operative Package 5, it's my gear. The only reason I probably use this is because it gives me a 10% sniper rifle damage, so that is probably the best gear I have, and 10% tech damage, so my overload is going to be pretty strong. I use armor piercing rounds so I can pierce through things like Brute's armor, Ravager's armor, anything that really has armor, and I use a sniper rifle rail lamp just to make the Kishock more deadly than it already is. Right now I'm purchasing a jumbo equipment pack because I needed some Medigel, I didn't have any at the time. And now I'm going to go into a match. I'm going to be playing on Firebase Ghost on Gold against Reapers. The reason I was playing on Firebase Ghost Hazard mode, which I hate a lot, is because I wanted to do the challenge, and Firebase Ghost is just pretty plain, so I think the Hazard mode makes it more fun, but it can be a pretty annoying at times at how the rain makes your health go down. But I think you get a bit extra XP for playing on Hazard maps as well, but I'm not really that certain. Anyway, it makes it more fun, and I hope you are going to be enjoying this gameplay. Right now I'm going to skip on the part where the game actually starts, where it takes me quite a while to find some players after me and my friend get into the lobby. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay guys, I am back and the game has started. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the character, the Turian Sentinel himself. Normally I use him with like an assault rifle, just using tech armor to pretty much just tank a bit like a Krogan, but just with like, I don't really normally use the warp and overload, but I found this build was really good for like debuffing enemies. I don't use tech armor because I need my power. I use overload to get rid of shields and barriers, and warp to weaken the armor. And when I use warp on things like brutes, which you will see later on in this video, you can really weaken their armor. So I can take down like 4 or 5 bars with just one accurate shot of the Kishock. The bad thing about the Kishock is it doesn't do as much damage as like you would get with an M98 Widow unless it's a headshot. There's a huge amount of headshot damage with this weapon, but the body damage for it in any other part of the body isn't as high as most sniper rifles, so you have to really be accurate with this gun, and that's not easy. My secondary weapon is an Acolyte, because everyone knows Overload doesn't really take out the barriers or shields or stuff like Banshees, and that's what the Acolyte's for. I'm really impressed with the Acolyte because they've improved it since before the update. Because before you had to hold the button down to make your enemies, you had to hold the button down to fire the gun, but now you click it and it fits, which makes it much easier to use, because I found it really annoying before. Then I had to just hold the button and keep holding the button to get the right amount of power, and just get all the power you need to take out shields and barriers really quickly. And it is probably my favourite weapon for taking out shields and barriers now. So when you pair that with a sniper, really can become a really powerful killing machine battlefield. As you just saw right there, I had to spend a lot of time tracking that cannibal. It's because it is really easy to miss with this weapon, because the time it takes the bullet to travel through the air, the enemy can easily dodge where you was going to fire it from. Another annoying thing about this map is that you have to mostly stay indoors at most times, and it's easy to get surrounded when you're indoors, and that's because of the acid rain or whatever it is outside of the buildings. And if you stay outside, your shields will slowly start to just deplete, and that's not good at all. But sometimes when you get surrounded, you're gonna have to make a run for it, and your shields are gonna be going down the whole time, so that makes this map just a whole lot harder. This build would work well on Geth, Reapers and Collectors. The reason I say it wouldn't work well on Cerberus is because they're so quick on their feet. It's not really easy to get a shot. Like, you can't really get an accurate shot down on a Phantom or a Nemesis because they're so agile and fast. Whereas the Reapers, Collectors and Geth, not the Geth so much, but Reapers and Collectors main, are pretty big, large creatures with huge areas, so like it's easy to hit them even if they move a bit out of the way. Because they're just so big and large, it's easy to hit them with a shot. Whereas Geth, they're a bit smaller, but they're slow. That's the good thing about them. So you can easily hit them with the Kishock, and it's easy to get a headshot on the Geth because their head kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's not really a head. It's more like just a machine thing, and it's easy to just hit from any angle. Cerberus, on the other hand, they just have so many, like, that's normally why I use armor-piercing rounds, because the Cerberus guys with the shields, they really are annoying, and the smoke as well. It's not easy to get through all of that, so I normally sometimes can use advanced scope on this weapon, because that helps you get through stuff like smoke. Anyway, I'm playing this build on a gold run, and I'm taking out most of the average enemies ridiculously easily. You can take out most enemies easily, except boss enemies like brutes, banshees, stuff like that. Ravagers, you have to aim for kind of the eye part, not the sacks. The sacks normally deal quite a good damage when you have an assault rifle, but a sniper, you want to aim for the most vulnerable part normally. Another great thing about Overload is if I get too overwhelmed by enemies, I can use it to kind of stun the enemies, incapacitate weaker organic enemies. That's what it does. Stuff like cannibals and husk and marauders, which can really help me get out of sticky situations. So characters suited for most environments really. As you can see already, a lot of my teammates are going down, but that is mainly because the brutes are rushing us. Like, whenever we try and hide somewhere, the brutes rush us. And this pumpkin mission is also ridiculously hard because a lot of pumpkins are out in the acid rain, so you're going to be disabling an object vulnerable whilst there's enemies charging at you. So there's nothing much you can really do, and a lot of my teammates in this game won't really defend each other. But there's just one problem with this gun really, is because I can't really use it on a sniper with tactical cloak, which I would love to, because the damage bonus would be crazy. But the thing is, at long ranges, you're less likely to hit them, because if you hold down the charge button with this sniper, I'm not sure if they might have patched it by now, But when I used to use the javelin, which is another charge up sniper, I put tactical cloak on, started charging, and when I'm looking around for enemies to hit whilst charging the weapon, the cloak would disappear because when you shoot, cloak runs out, and for some reason when you charge a weapon they kind of think that you shot, so it runs out, so like you won't be able to charge it, you'll only be able to tap it, and when you tap it the bullet's not going to fly as far, it's not going to fly as fast, and it's just going to be really hard to hit, guys. But if you could use tactical cloak on this guy, you should definitely be able to two hit bosses like no, maybe not bandits, but brutes. Definitely, you could easily two hit them if you could cloak. But warp is a great substitute for cloak. It's nowhere near as good as cloak, but it debuffs them for longer. That's the great thing. So this character, you can actually use him like not with a sniper. You could use him with an assault rifle. You could use him with fully automatic guns. You could use him with anything because the character himself is good enough to use any type of gun. Like there's some characters who you wouldn't really use with like an assault rifle. You wouldn't use a Solarian sniper with an assault rifle because tactical cloak is mainly made for snipers, except on the new Turian Havoc Soldier, because they give you the assault rifle damage bonus. But there's some characters who specialize in one certain thing. But the thing about the Turian is he's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, which I kind of prefer. I prefer to be able to do more than one thing instead of just do one thing but be really good at it. But it depends really how I'm feeling about this game. Sometimes I wouldn't mind just tactical cloak snipe, because it can get boring over time. It is pretty repetitive. It's quite fun to just be racking up the points, being at the top leaderboard. So it really depends how you want to play this game. But the Kishock with the Turian, wow, it is pretty much a beast. You can take out tons and tons of enemies with this, and it's just ridiculous how far back the enemies fly when you charge up the weapon to max. Probably one of the only things I have to knock about this weapon is I don't really know when it's fully charged because the sound sounds the same throughout the entire charging thing. So normally when I'm running around, I charge the gun. You can do that whilst you're running. You charge a weapon whilst you're running. So I charge it and then I see an enemy and then I can pretty much just easily snipe him because it's already fully charged. And it's pretty funny how far back they fight. Anyway, I'm coming up towards the end of the video. We're on wave 4 and there's gonna be, I think it's this wave where I have to clutch the wave all by myself. It's pretty hard to do because there's just so many enemies and it's just brutes rushing me. And you're gonna see in this video, I go down in the corner and there's 2 brutes right rushing me, and I'm surprised they didn't grab me like what they do when you revive yourself or when your teammate revives you and there's an enemy who does one of those finisher moves and you get up and you get grabbed straight away. I'm surprised that didn't happen to me and I actually got to survive, but it was a really tough situation. And the worst thing about the brutes is I always never expected when they do the charge move where they go across like the whole map pretty much and just slash at you with that big arm. I normally think, oh, I can just sneak under its arm or something, or I can easily dodge it, but the Turian isn't really the most evasive character because it can't roll. But they've changed it on the Turian Havoc, and I love the new jetpack because you can evade easily now. But with this guy, the Turian Sentinel, you can't evade nothing. You can't even evade Ravagers, which you see me die a lot to in this video. And brutes, you can't evade them at all. All you can do is pretty walk. All you can do is really walk. You can't really do much running. Just turn around and run, you'll be hit by them. And it really does annoy me sometimes. Another great thing about this gun is when you see me get into close range combat with Husk and cannibals, this gun can respond pretty quick to that close range danger. Like I just hip fire it takes them right off their feet and they're dead. But the thing about hip firing sometimes, I don't think it does maximum damage.